You sound like me. I mean, there's so many things you've just said, me talking all the time, exactly the same way. First of all, if you look at, people ask me about this photo on the wall. I can't see it at the moment, but this photo on the wall, which is one of my favorites, not because of the technical aspect of it or the aesthetic aspect. I remember, I can tell that story and my experience with the girl like it was yesterday. And it was very meaningful to me, so much so that it's tattooed on my arm, right? The experience outweighs the photograph 100 times. And as soon as you understand that, you're perfectly right. Your photography you release something. You're more creative, you're more flowing, you're more relaxed about it, and you're more inspired, because you know that if you focus on the cliche, but you focus on the process, you focus on the experience, enjoying that experience, creating those memories, the photos will come. Definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, documentary photography, I'm talking about indigenous people, is a very privileged thing to do, because I've been doing this 34 years and I'm still like a child. I just come from Sumatra 3 days ago, brother. And that's why I like to work with his friend, David Medhaf, who's have a base here. He's a fantastic guy to travel in Indonesia with him. He says, Suki, you're like a child. I said, yes, I became a child. I like to talk with the people, I like to laugh with the people. I became a clown with the people, because this is how pure the people is, I don't go there like a photographer, boring, No, I'm just go to learn every day. They have a lot to teach us, So once again, like you say, I say to the people when they ask me, my students, hey, what happened? How I do that? I say, listen, guy, walk, keep your cameras inside and walk, observe, see the light, see the shadow, see how the people connect with the people, when, of course, but before, when I was working, I will come to a community for 10 days. The first 3 days, I don't take my camera with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take my camera. I leave it in the whatever I was sleeping. Because first I want to understand a little bit and make contact with the people. And then in the day 4, I will walk with my camera. I will go with the people that I already met. I will build a relation. And you can feel it it's not about technical. You can be an amazing technical person, but if you don't contact with there's something in the expression. You need to make a contact with the person. And then what happens if you stay 2 hours talking about many, many things, and then it's the moment, hey, may I make your portrait? No. Don't be upset.
Yeah.
Get the beautiful experience that man have so many because there is a history in every life. There's a fantastic story, And sometimes you meet these men, these people, that they feel very happy to talk with you. Because I like old men, right? I like all kind of people, right? But I have a big passion for elders, right? Because, I don't know, my heart just...
Well, they have so much wisdom and probably so many stories to tell themselves. Right?
But how indigenous people treat elders is very different and much more healthy than modern society that they put them, aside. But even there are people who spend a lot of time alone. So when you ask them in a respectful way to make a portrait, they feel proud. They feel like, oh, this guy's, is putting interest on me. And that's why when I do a portrait, I always, and that's a tip that I always give to anyone, to my students, when you're going to select your work, you are at home, finally, you have your whatever, your juice, or if you can drink beer, your beer, and you're going to always start for the last ones, not for the first ones, because always the best ones are the last ones. So why you going to start with the first one and then, so better start with the last one and then through you go to the first one, garbage. Because you build a contact, you build, understanding the place, understanding, things that you saw better in the house. But this is about how the art of portrait. I'm a portrait photographer, as you know. This is my big, big passion, And I like other kind of photography. I did all kind of photography, and I love street photography as artistic skills and how all the elements, blah, blah, blah. But I just love to contact with people, That's my big passion, yeah.
When it comes to storytelling with people, and you talked about a little bit of your process there when you travel, you don't pick up your camera for the first few days. That also helps. I mean, I do the same thing, and it also helps with the people on the other side of your lens becoming a little bit more comfortable with you, which is hugely important when you're asking them to look into the camera on day 4 or day 5, right? So it's as much as you being comfortable and making contact and connections with them, but it's also them making connections and contact with you, and eventually, hopefully, breaking that ice, getting to know each other, and hopefully getting a nicer shot because of it, because they're more relaxed, they're more engaged with you, they're more interested, they're more proud, etc., etc. Tell me about other elements of storytelling. If you're doing a workshop, or if you're teaching others, or if you're on location yourself, what are you thinking about when it comes to the story as a whole, but also the story of an individual photo?
Well, I think it depends. It depends when I run a workshop or as a personal work?
Either. Or how do you teach, I guess, in terms of the workshop, how would you teach storytelling? What type of advice would you give others in terms of?
I think what I teach on photography, and is an ongoing process work, is educating the eyes. Is educating the art of observing. That's what I teach. And I try to teach all this about ethics when you work with people. So then they can use it for future work. Storytelling is another story. For example, I was thinking and talking yesterday with David Metcalf about that. Like, for example, maybe one day to make a different workshop where you go to Varanasi and you have 6 fixers, 6 students, and every student can choose a story to work for 7 days.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But that's
expensive, but amazing.